Hello everyone. In today's video, I want to take a moment to reflect on the past year of my YouTube journey. I think today does mark a full year of when I first uploaded onto this channel. Now, I don't have that video on the channel anymore because I went through a little bit of spiraling in sort of the later half of the year where I ended up deleting a bunch of content I wasn't satisfied with, but I do want to take a moment to sort of just go through what the process has been like for me. And then I also want to take a moment to talk about my plans for 2025 and where I want to go as a content creator. Now, when I first started off on this channel, I was primarily making content or wanted to make content for gacha games because Honkai Star Rail was my sole focus at the time. That's all I was really playing all the way back in the start of January. So that's more or less what I did with a little bit of like RPG stuff on the side. But my big focus was making content for Honkai Star Rail. Decided to put out a couple of tip guides and, you know, unit pull guides. And for a channel that was probably less than 20 subscribers, it did pretty well. I ended up getting quite a few views on, you know, certain guide videos. And as I continued to go into the year with that mindset of, you know, trying to make stuff for gacha games, Wuthering Waves came out, went through the beta for that, did some content on that for a bit. I think that is this spike over here was the Wuthering Waves boom. I think this one was a lot of Honkai Star Rail stuff because that was what probably when 2.0 came out, was around March timeframe. So I had a pretty significant spike in views for those two periods. But as I was trying to make this work, I found myself spending a lot of time in the game doing research, crunching numbers, trying to figure stuff out so that, you know, guides could be fairly reputable. But at the same time, I was also going up against these established creators in the gacha space. And not to mention that a lot of the meta for that early year was a bunch of drama stuff. So if you weren't engaging in drama, you weren't really getting a whole lot of views. And then if you are a small channel, you were losing out to all the creators that were getting early access and able to drop stuff day one for their guides. And just it was an uphill grind, an uphill battle that was very, very discouraging as somebody with no following whatsoever. So, you know, trying to get your foot into that door and not really succeeding did take the wind out of my sails quite a bit, especially around the June, July frame, where basically all the views sort of just dropped off, and you know, I struggled figuring out what I wanted to do with the channel. The more time I spent into the gacha games I was playing, the less fun I had. It felt like a second job. Now I do work full time, put in 40 hours minimum. Sometimes I do go over, you know, 45, and so I wasn't able to really spend as much time trying to get content out as I would like, because again, you know, researching all the stuff on, you know, what makes a successful YouTube channel. You got to put out videos, you know, every day to give viewers that discover you a strong backlog of videos to watch when they decide to subscribe. And you know, that just wasn't happening for me because I would work 8, 9, 10 hours a day, get home, have to jump into these gacha games, try and figure out what content I can make, super tired. And, you know, it was just a little bit much. And it really did, I'd say around this June to October timeframe, it really did take the wind out of my sails. And I just didn't really know what I wanted to do with the channel going forward. But I've always been a big fan of RPGs. I think indie games in general, I've put more time into playing various indie games from, you know, all the way back in like 2011 with FTL, RimWorld, Kenshi, all of these indie games I have hundreds and close to 1,000 hours in, compared to the latest AAA titles that I play for 15 hours and then I'm done with it. But I've always been a fan of RPGs, JRPGs, indie titles, and I figured that I could probably pivot into that while still technically maintaining my playtime with gachas, because gacha games are still, they're technically RPGs. Honkai Star Rail, it's and heavily inspired by JRPGs. A bunch of JRPGs, plays like a JRPG. Wuthering Waves, I'm still playing that action RPG. Girls Frontline 2, XCOM style game, still playing that, loving that. I'm just not making content on them, or at least a whole lot of content in that later half of the year, which did revitalize my enjoyment for making content on the channel, because I wasn't living in these gacha games trying to beat out the drama baiting algorithm and beat out all of the guide makers that have this stuff early access 2 weeks beforehand. I'm just enjoying my games on the side, and then I am making indie game content. So you could see when I start posting these indie games in the middle of October, I start seeing success again. I'm just getting a gradual increase of views, still very jittery. And you can see it's roughly the same for all across the board with views, watch time, subscribers. I had that boost in the beginning when I was covering Honkai Star Rail 2.0 and Wuthering Waves launch period. I got a nice boost from that, but then it just sort of fizzled out. And now I am getting sort of a resurgence with focusing on these indie games and indie demos. And I've been loving it. All of the indie games that I've posted so far, I've had fun with. There are a couple of indie games that I've played that I've recorded for, and I didn't really have much fun with it, so they didn't really make the cut. So the stuff that I do post on the channel, the showcases that I do post, are games that I do enjoy enough to make a video out of, to make a showcase, and it is starting to turn out results. It's a very big confidence booster to see that my pivot is starting to turn results. So that is what I'm going to continue to do going forward. Is I'm going to continue focusing on these indie games because I do enjoy them. Now, for what I want to do for 2025 is I do want to continue to focus on the indie game content and showcasing as many indie games as I can. I think a lot of indie games are actually slated, that I have covered in the past few months, they're slated to release in this first half of the year. But quite a few of them I am actually interested in playing through fully. So I'll either play through, do like a full playthrough series or a stream of some sort, but I do want to return back to the indie games that really stood out to me, that I really did enjoy, to make additional content on them for a couple of videos, maybe even give out like a full-length scripted review video. I do want to get more into that as well, more prepared content, maybe even towards like a quarter or halfway mark of the year, just put together like a big compilation video of all the indie games that I've showcased on the channel. Maybe do like some sort of indie game show award thing at the end of the year. Who knows? That's just something that's way off in the future, that is something to think about. But that is what I want to focus on. I think I found my groove in bringing out all of these indie games and showcasing them to other people. And I want to continue doing that. And I might bring some of my old favorite RPGs alongside the channel as like sort of like a side series. Like right now, I'm going through Golden Sun Reloaded, a rebalanced ROM hack of Golden Sun. Going through that right now. I'll be going through Lost Age, the same Reloaded Lost Age, and that'll just come up that periodically as sort of like a side project, a little side chill project. I have Final Fantasy Tactics on on the wait list. I have various, Pokemon runs on the wait list as well that I'm just sort of building a backlog on so that I can release it semi frequently. But I want to try and get more into that as well. Another thing I do want to accomplish throughout the year is sort of network more and, reach out and focus a little bit more on building a community. I am admittedly not all that great with socializing in terms of, Discord stuff and all of that. So I'm not going to really kind of make a Discord group at the moment, because I know a lot of creators, they make Discords and they have a community Discord and stuff. I'm just going to hold off on that. I'll make that like 1,000 sub goal or something. I'll get 1,000 subs. I'll make a Discord for, the community and, work on building that up. But I do want to network more, reach out to other indie devs and indie creators and, work with them to showcase their stuff. And I would like to get back into streaming. However, it has been, especially during the holidays, it has been very difficult with how many hours I've been putting in my job. I'm just too tired at the end of the day. And, it really just zombifies me for any sort of stream. But I think maybe on my off days, I will look into streaming more or less, probably just streaming games that I'm looking to play. I just got Persona 5 Royale and Tactics Ogre for Christmas, gifted to me for Christmas. So really wanting to jump into those. So maybe I'll just do that on stream for my off days, so that I can try and grow myself in that area as well. Because I do want to focus on growing, improving, being consistent. Now that I have found my groove, I want to not let it go to waste and, continue on strong. So this was just a quick reflection video of the past year and a little bit of giving my resolutions for 2025 as a content creator. I really do appreciate everybody who stops by and watches the videos. Anyways, that's enough yapping for me. This has been quite a journey in my content creation hobby, and I am excited for what 2025 is going to bring. So you can look forward to more in the coming days. I will be getting out some more indie demos very shortly. So once again, thank you for all of your support. If this is your first time here, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Or if you're coming back and not subscribed already, I would greatly appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoyed their New Year's and their holiday, and I will see you for the next video.